Hey all, Jason Peacock, and I'm back with my board gaming blog talking about games I've been playing this October. Let's just jump right into it, starting with Flick 'em Up Dead of Winter. Now, I'm a huge fan of the original Flick 'em Up. You've got a bunch of wooden meeple cowboys and cardboard buildings. You can actually use a little movement disc to flick yourself around the table. You can go into a building, but all the while you're playing these scenarios with certain objectives. You can fire a bullet. If you knock down one of the meeples off the enemy team, you take a hit point away. The game is just a blast. It's like a big setup for what it is for a game, but still, that aside, it's awesome. So they came out with a Flick 'em Up Dead of Winter, which isn't just a new theme reskin. It's really got some unique mechanics. The first thing I like about it is they take the first 5 out of 10 scenarios and they make them co-op. So the players are fighting together as a group, trying to fight these zombies. And the zombies have this tower. There's several game effects that'll have you place zombies on top of this little, kind of like a dice tower thing. And it's got a little piece of cardboard to stop the flap from falling in. Once you got all the zombies on there, you pull it out and they come down the thing and they spill out onto the table surface. If they hit any of the survivors, they take a wound. It's really cool and also very hard. I realized how bad I am at Flick 'em Up and how much I need to practice, especially with that baseball bat. There's a little shotgun you can get in this game. You got 4 of these little tiny wooden discs and a wooden template. You put the template beside your meeple and you flick them all out and it can knock down like 5-6 zombies, but make sure you don't knock over one of your own guys. This is the kind of game you can have set up, and if people see you playing them, they're gonna be like, what game is this? Holy cow. So if you're into dexterity games, this one is really cool, and I think I'm gonna do up a review of this one soon as well. But yeah, just take a look at some photos of this game all set up. It's just really cool. I haven't gone into the competitive games yet, but my brother also has this game, and I'm planning on doing that soon. Just dripping with theme. I can't wait to see what they do for expansions. You know they're coming. So far, I've been playing all good games this month. All right, so here's a game I've been playing, getting ready for review. It's probably, I think, the last big Cool Mini or Not game that came out, Massive Darkness. This is a dungeon crawl that's based on the Zombicide game engine with, you know, a few different mechanics. It's way more card-based with the AI. It's not just endless waves of zombies coming onto the board. Yeah, so again, it's co-op. There's a darkness mechanic where, you know, you get special abilities if you're fighting from a dark space. I've only played the first 2 scenarios, although I've had to repeat the second one a couple of times. And I really hate that second scenario. It's super hard. It's almost completely dependent on super good luck, dice rolls, and very little strategy. Put a bad taste in my mouth, but I see this potential of the game, and like Zombicide, it might not be super strategic. It might be based on a lot of good luck and good dice rolls, but it is a blast and a really good time. You know, you can jump in and play any scenario, but I'm trying to do the story mode, playing with my son, and I see the potential leveling up, getting more powerful, and kicking a little more butt in the dungeon. Funny enough, that scenario that I hate, I got a crazy good roll with this wizard and just finished off the big spider just in time, but hate that scenario big time, and I hate the fact that it's the second scenario, so your dudes don't have very good weapons to really compete against something that rolls like all of the defense dice. So it's almost impossible to beat up by regular means, but enough ranting about that. Right now I'm like, I'm on the fence. I don't dislike the game. I don't love the game, but I suppose further exploration could maybe get me there. I hope it does, because it's super cool looking. Of course, the minis are, you know, I've got so many minis to paint, so the better the game, the further ahead of my painting queue it goes. And some of these guys look phenomenal. So I'm hoping another couple of plays of this will really bring this game to light and help me enjoy it a little bit more. Okay, Guards of Atlantis. I got to play this game 8 players. It simulates a MOBA style game like Rubbin' Bones. And It's team versus team. There's not a lot of these games where you're playing everybody's on one team against another. Deterministic combat, the idea is to wipe out all the minions in a zone, then they all get reset up in designated spaces one step closer to the throne room. If you can push them into the enemy's throne room, then you win. Everything's got one hit point. You've got agonizing decisions to make. Oh, do I smack a minion with this, or do I smack a hero? The heroes can at least possibly defend by playing a card from their hand with a defense, and the minions cannot. There is a lot to this game. It's 100% strategy. There's a lot to knowing the decks. You know, you only have 5 cards at a time, and there's a leveling up system where you can replace cards with a better card. And you can also get, when you level up, you would pick a color, so say red. You're going to take one of those red cards, it's going to replace your starting one, and the other red card has got a little item at the bottom that's going to buff up your dude for the rest of the game, like make him faster, make his range better. So there's decision making on the fly, like how you're, based on what the other heroes are doing, how you're going to level up your dude. And I can't say enough good things about this. I did do a review of this. You can find it over on the Dice Tower, where I do most of my reviews, almost all of them. I do this here, and then I review a game, and that goes on the Dice Tower. But man, this game is awesome. This was like a hidden gem from last year's 2016 Essen. People that like this game love it. I haven't found any bad comments about it on BGG. I just love the team play. The high player count is great. You can play 10, I think even 11 people. And the turns are like, you know, bam, 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 bam. Everybody plays a card face down on one slot. You flip it up. Whoever's card is the highest number would activate first. He might, you know, just shoot a guy, and then the next guy in order, so on and so forth. So Guards of Atlantis, one of the best games of this type. And that brings us to Captain Sonar, another team game that I got to try out. This was another one that's had so much good buzz, like a convention game, great at 8 players. We got to play at 8 players, and I liked it. We played the turn by turn, so everybody can learn the rules. And it was fun-ish, turn by turn. But I can see how much this game is going to shine playing it real time. Problem is, like, you generally need 8 players to play the game. But I can see playing at 6 real time working pretty good, because the first mate and the engineer have pretty minor jobs compared to the captain and the radio operator. And my friend who has the game played it 2 players, turn by turn with his wife, and he actually really enjoyed it. I got to try it myself 2 players, but that might get me to actually buy the game. If it can shine as a 2-player intricate game of Battleship, I'm really curious about that one. But yeah, for those that don't know, Captain Sonar, your table is divided by these big screens that come with the game. You've got one team on one side and the other team's on the other side. You've got the captain saying what direction their ship's moving, because everybody's got dry erase markers and boards on their side. So the captain is marking on the chart where his submarine's moving. The radio operator on the other team is also marking where he's moving. And he's moving this clear plastic thing around the map, knowing that we can't move into islands or go back around our own path. So eventually, deductive reasoning, by moving the path we've taken, he's going to try and pinpoint where we are. And the engineer is trying to power up the torpedoes. When they're ready, let the captain know, firing torpedo on J5. If it's right on that space, the enemy sub takes 2. If he's next to that space, they take 1. So it's this really crazy immersive game of Battleship. It's really cool. Look into it if that sounds appealing to you. And finally, a game I just got in a few days ago, that one of the few games I pre-ordered, Photosynthesis. This brilliant little strategy game about growing trees. It's beautiful to look at. All the trees are 3D on a board, and there's 3 sizes. They start out as a seed, and you're paying sun to grow these trees, put new seeds out there. And once you grow a big tree, you can spend 4 sun and cash it in for points. So depending on the size of your tree, reflects how much sun you're going to gain. There's so much strategy and depth to this game. Like the very first game I played 2-player, I'm really just trying to do my best and grow my trees. There's a sun moving around the board, so the direction the sun hits matters, because if you have smaller or same size trees directly behind, whether it's yours or your other person, they're not getting any sun, so they're not going to yeah, they're not going to gain any sun. If you play with the advanced rules, they can't grow and you can't plant seeds in the shade. But I was started out as a chess lover when I was a kid, so this game's got that chess-like strategy to it. There's so much like depth in the decisions you make, because first of all, you have to buy the appropriate size tree or seed from your little player board here, and that becomes in your available area. You've got to, you know, manage your sun by putting your seeds and trees from your available area into play. If you replace something else and there's no longer room on your player board for it, then it goes back to the box, so you'll start losing options as the game goes on. And you also have to decide when to cash in on your big trees. So the timing in that is very important. And then when, like, that's just the start with. And then when you start putting your trees to intentionally block other players, that's where it really opens up. So I've got 2 plays of this 2 players, but right now, loving this game. Like, this is in contention for Game of the Year for me. I do need to play it a little bit more because, you know, sometimes that initial can come down after a few plays. But that's what I've been playing lately. Thanks for watching. If you like what I'm doing here, then give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, I'm Jason Peacock.